Howdy y'all, Fast Forwards 289, welcome back. So today we're going to be installing a brand new carburetor onto my 1968 Ford Fairlane. It's a quick fuel carburetor, an alternate line, I guess you'd say, of Holley. Holley makes them. They're not called Holley. And I'm going to show you how to adapt a 4-barrel to your 2-barrel intake. Now down the road I will be upgrading to a 4-barrel intake, but for now I just want to get the carburetor on the car because I'm having some problems with this 2-barrel, and I want to get this new carburetor put on, make the car run better, and test it out and everything. And then when I go down the road later in the future, I'll have the 4-barrel intake. So let's take a look at the carburetor that I bought, and we'll jump right into it. All right, so this is the carburetor that I bought. It's a quick fuel brawler street strip series. It is a mechanical secondaries with electric choke and double pumper, 600 CFM. And the reason why I went with this is because for a manual transmission, you're better off to run mechanical secondaries, and automatic, you're better off to run vacuum secondaries, in theory. The electric choke I like because I'm not wanting to run no cable to do a manual choke. And so yeah, we're gonna try this. This is my very first double pumper I've ever had, so this is gonna be fun and exciting for me. I like the black accents that come with this carburetor as well. And I like how they give you the sights now instead of having to remove a screw. I like that on both sides. You see, you can just see the float level now, so that's good. I like how it's also got this like air gap for the choke to help let air in instead of just being completely closed off like the old styles used to be. So that's cool. And the reason why I went with 600 CFM is because for this motor right now, 600 CFM is actually too much. There's a formula that you can do, and I'll post it on here so you can see the formula if you want to calculate yours. But there's a formula to do to figure out what CFM carburetor you need to run. And really, right now with this stock motor, I think mine averaged out to be like a 500 CFM. But the reason why I went with 600 is because I am going to upgrade the motor down the road. I'm going to upgrade the intake, the cam, maybe even possibly the heads down the road. And this will carry that. 600 CFM is the most that I'll need for this motor. When you get to 351 and bigger motors and you start going with bigger cams and stuff, then you might need to go with like a 650 or 700 or whatever the case may be. But this will work perfectly for what I got now. So yeah. I've always liked Holley's carburetors, and this is the first quick fuel that I've ever had from them. I've heard good things about them, but I'm gonna see for myself. But here's one gripe I got with Holley or quick fuel. They give you the gasket. They give you the gasket for the air cleaner. They now no longer give you the adapter piece, the little ball socket, if you have a throttle cable. Now, on this car, originally came with a steel linkage, but I converted it to a cable. But this is supposed to be a universal carburetor. It's not just specific to this car. So, I don't know why they don't give you that anymore. I don't know if they just forgot it in my kit or if they just don't do it. But now they no longer, they give you this little spring for the kick down, a bracket to bolt it to, and the screws to bolt it down for the kick down, but they don't give you the ball socket adapter for throttle cable. They also no longer give you the red wire for the electric choke. They used to do that in the kits, and I'll be honest with you, this carburetor cost me $500. For the money that I'm spending, I should get everything that I would ever need to install this carburetor on any kind of vehicle whatsoever. But not a big thing. I got the little adapter in my drawer off of other carburetor that I can use, but it's the principle of the whole thing. You're paying the money, you should get everything you need. And also the electric choke thing, I've heard that they don't put that, they haven't been putting that in the kits for a little bit now, but still, if you're selling an electric choke carburetor, you should, I guess they figure if you're putting it on a vehicle, like my 76 Ford truck, for example, came factory with electric choke. I guess they figure you're just gonna plug it, use your original wire, I guess, but nonetheless, I think they should include it, especially for the money you're paying. All right, that's my little rant for today. All right, now let's get into it, and we'll start taking the old carburetor off the car. All right, so the first thing we want to do is remove the air cleaner. Then we can remove our fuel line. Then remove our throttle cable. And now we can proceed to remove these 4 bolts. On the stock 2-barrel stuff is 7/16. Most aftermarkets are a 1/2 inch. All right, y'all, so this is the finished product. The motor does look different than it did earlier because my camera died, and this is kind of a late edit that I actually forgot I had this video, and I edited it late. So, because my camera died when I was originally recording, so this is me picking up where I left off, sort of. So I was taking the 2-barrel off. I put this 4-barrel on here now, and all it is to install is very simple. I picked up one of these dual feed lines from O'Reilly's Auto Parts, screws right into there. This is where your vacuum advance would hook up, just like on the 2-barrel, no different. And then the linkage, you hook up your throttle linkage, adjust it however you need to, because going from a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel, you may have to adjust it some, you know, in or out, or however it may need to be. Bolt it down. Now with a aftermarket setup, they're 1/2-inch bolts to 7/16 like the factory. But yeah, that's it, you know. And then your PCV, it'll plug into the back, just like that. Yeah, it looks good. It works good. Out of the box, for a stock motor, this 600 CFM made a huge difference on this car. Man, that looks good. I'll show you what I had it on. This is, when I had it on the 2-barrel, this is what it looked like. I had one of these adapter plates put on here to bolt a 4-barrel to a 2-barrel or a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel. And that actually worked pretty well. Even though it's restrictive, it actually worked pretty well, you know. But obviously not as good as this, but yeah, now we're good to go. And if you want to see why the motor looks different, you got to stay tuned for an upcoming video on why the motor looks different. Okay, so here's a real quick overview of that formula I was telling you about, how to figure out what CFM carburetor you should run for your engine. So the formula is, we got cubic feet per minute, also known as CFM. The formula is CFM equals cubic inches times RPM times volumetric efficiency divided by 3,456. The 3,456 is more technical about, it has to do with the intake valve, how many times it opens and revolutions, and we can get more into that later. If y'all want to know more, just leave a comment down below and we can explain that in another video, but it's not important. You just need to know the formula to figure out what you need. Stock engines generally run an 80% efficiency. Race engines generally run from 95 to 110% efficiency. So what I did here is this. For my 302, I did 302 times the RPM, which is 6,000, which is the max RPM that I would ever turn. That's, RPM is your max RPM you'll turn. 6 grand is the most that I would ever even consider turning this motor. I honestly probably wouldn't even turn it that much. But I'm going a little bit above what I may end up doing, because you can always adjust for a little bit less, but then when you want to go bigger, you have to get into more stuff, you know. So you can still adjust it, but you know, I figure I can plan for bigger. I can just I can adjust it down if I need to. So 302 times 6,000 RPMs times 90%, because with my plans in the future, you know, it's not a race engine, but it's going to be more than stock. So I figure about 90%. Again, plan a little bit more than you probably need. Then divide that by 3,456 equals a 471.875. So really a 500 CFM carburetor would have been fine for a stock engine. But again, I went with the 600 CFM for future events, and it'll be fine. It'll run fine with that. If I decide to go with a 351 Windsor or Cleveland in the future, like I have considered doing in the future, times 6,000 RPMs times the 90% efficiency divided by 3,456, it equals out to 548.4375. So see right here, a 550 carburetor would be fine, but again, having that little bit of extra is always nice. I can always adjust. The adjustability of it, I can make it how I need to. So that's how you figure that out. So that's the formula if you want to know how to figure your engine out, and you can go based off from there. I say I went to 90% because it's not a race engine, and really that's probably too much, honestly. I could have probably done 85, but I figured I would just shoot a little bit higher. That way I'm covered. So there we go. All right, guys, well, that's it. As simple as that. That is a quick fuel, 4-barrel, 600 CFM, double pumper, dual feed carburetor installed on my 68 Ford Fairlane. It works great. It made a world of difference on this car. You know, even being a stock motor, it was like putting a different engine in. It was just, could not believe the amount of torque and horsepower and response, now throttle response, this car had, going from that 2-barrel to that 4-barrel like that. Great. If y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you and help you any way I can. Tell me what you think. And as always, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.